Okay, welcome back to this video. I'm going to walk you through setting up a Performance Max campaign. So throughout this video, I'll use the term either PMax, which is a shortened version of Performance Max that I like to say, it's easier to say, or I'll just say Performance Max. So Performance Max campaigns are a relatively new campaign type from Google that uses machine learning and AI to improve results. So in addition, what also makes this campaign type unique is that it shows your ads across all of Google's ad channels. These channels include Gmail, YouTube, display ads, which are ads on other websites, and within the Discover app, which shows on mobile phones, and then also on Android devices. So it even shows search ads in Google search results. So it has broad reach across all these channels. And then combining the machine learning and AI, it can find your customers. So very broad reach. But you might be wondering, how does Performance Max target the right people that lead to new sales? Well, it uses several different audience signals to find these people. And that's part of what we'll be covering in depth here shortly. So let's dive in. Okay, the first step is going to be to create this new campaign. So from the campaign view in Google Ads, click on the blue plus sign to create a new campaign. So let's go ahead and do that, new campaign. Okay, we're going to create the campaign without goals guidance. I don't like using goal guidance because it pre-selects settings that are not optimal in some cases. So go ahead and click that. And then down here, we're going to choose Performance Max right here. So go ahead and choose that. Now, if you went through the module earlier on setting up conversion actions, which you should do before doing this campaign, you should see some of those conversion actions here: book appointments, page views, and phone call leads. So if you haven't set that up yet, go back and do that first. And then where should people go after clicking on your ads? So in this case, I'm just going to put my website. And then go ahead, type in the URL. Now that URL is going to be the landing page of where you're sending this traffic. So if this is about facials, selling facials or whatnot, then make sure that page URL that you're putting in there is about facials, and so on. Go ahead and click continue once you've done that. Now you're going to give it a name. You can give it anything. It has no consequence other than for organization. So I don't know, we'll just call it lash extensions since we've been doing that a lot. Click continue. Okay, now you'll be taken to a screen like this. You'll see campaign optimization score maybe on the right here. Let's just go ahead and close that for now. The one thing with Performance Max is that the campaign bidding is automatically set to maximize conversions, which you can see here, right here. So if you click this, you can click on conversion value or conversions. Choose conversions for now, not conversion value. So conversion value is more of an advanced feature. So if you want to assign value to certain conversion actions, let's say you know a phone call is worth twice as much as a form or something, just using this as a rough example. And let's say that you put a $100 value on a phone call and a $50 value on a different conversion action. There is a bidding option in there called maximize conversion value, and what that will end up doing is Google will focus more on the more valuable conversion actions that you've assigned to it. But we don't want to do that in this case because this is a new campaign. We don't have any data, and you have to be really confident in the conversion values that you assign before going down that path. So we'll just leave it at conversions. We set a target cost per action. No, we don't want to do that yet. We can do that down the road later, but for now, maximize conversions will be fine. Bid for new customers only. No, we don't want to do that. So we want to target new and existing customers. So if you have an available customer list of past customers that's a pretty good size, It probably needs to be about 1,500 to 2,000 total customers. You can retarget those people as an audience signal, and Performance Max will do that. So, but in our case, we do not want to target new customers only. We want to target new and returning customers. The reason you want to target returning customers as well is that they're the most likely to do business with you in the future, and you want to bring them back for repeat visits. So it helps to maintain mind share and brand awareness. So overall, leave this set at conversions, no target cost per action, and do not check this. Let's go ahead and click next. Now click on enter new location. Now we're going to set our geo-targeting. So for most salons, it's about a 5 to 7 mile radius. I've seen people, if they're doing permanent makeup, for example, or it's a really high cost price point service that they're offering, maybe they go out 20 miles. You need to think about your customer base. Where does 80% of the customers live? Is it within 5 miles or 7 miles? Typically, we run 5 miles or so. It really depends on what where 80% of your customers are going to be. So if you target too far out, your cost per lead ends up going up higher because you're going to be targeting people that far out that aren't willing to drive. So just think about that. I think the ideal place to start is somewhere between 5 to 7 miles maybe. So you can set up the geo-targeting a couple different ways. One, you can just type in your city. So in my case, I live in Temecula, and I can say include. So you can see that here, or you can do a radius as well, and I'm going to say, I'll just change that to 5 miles. Then you click on pin mode right here, and you can drop that in like that and say include. So now we have Temecula and this radius. It's okay if they overlap, there's no problem. You can be very discreet about the areas you want to target, but you don't want to be too narrow that your audience isn't big enough. You can change this down to 1 mile. Go back into pin mode, and I'll drop that. You can see that's a tiny little radius there. So you can get very specific about how you want your targeting. Once you have it the way you want, go ahead and click save. You can see that here. The reach hasn't populated yet for this, but the reach is the number of unique people that you can target. So 350,000 people targeting right here. Languages, I typically leave that at English, and then I also add Spanish as well. Go ahead and do that. Automatically created assets. Okay. If you have multiple locations and you're advertising in this case for just one of those locations, you need to think about unchecking this. So Google will crawl your website with this setting enabled, and it will automatically create text assets, meaning if you have multiple locations, if you only have one location, you don't need to worry about this. You can leave these checked if you're okay with Google creating different headlines and descriptions and pulling different images and assets to see if it can get better performance. So if you only have one location, go ahead and leave that enabled if you want. If you really are a control freak about your brand, then uncheck that. And again, back to what I was originally saying is, if there's multiple locations, I would uncheck this, because if you're advertising for only one, it can take the phone number from a different location, it can take assets, creative assets on your website from a different location, and show that in the ad, which can be very confusing. If you were trying to only advertise one location, Google all of a sudden is showing the phone number for your other location, so it's not great. But if it's only one location, go ahead and leave it. You can leave these checked. Then click on more settings. Now your ad schedule, this is also known as day parting. So if your budget is modest, so let's say $20 a day or less, you might have this run only during business hours when you are there, somebody is there to answer the phone. That'll concentrate your ad spend in just those hours of the day, which maybe it's business hours from 8 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. So you can go ahead and set custom hours for whatever you want. there. Now, if your budget is greater than 20 a day, you can let it run 24/7 because there are people that late at night that are going to search for your services. Click on more settings. If you want to set an end date, you don't. I don't ever set end dates. Typically, I just go in and manually pause them if I want it to stop, but you can as well. Brand lists excluded, you don't really need to worry about. If you wanted to exclude your brand from targeting, you could put that in here. Campaign URL, page feed, start and end dates. You can leave all that as a default. Go ahead and click next. Let's give our asset group a name. We'll just call it Lash, new and returning Lash customers. Final URL, again, make sure that URL represents the service that you're going to advertise. Now you can have Google's AI help you write copy and whatnot. Now, because I'm using my website URL, you can see it already propagated some of the keywords in here. But you can type in your own list if it was lash extensions or hydrofacial, permanent makeup, whatever it was. You can type that in there and then have it help you generate assets, as you can see down here, generate assets, or you can skip that. If you have enough creative assets, go ahead and skip it. If not, fill this out and ask it to generate the assets, and you can use some of those if they happen to benefit you. My experience with it is it's kind of hit or miss, but go ahead and play around with it. Now, on to headlines. You get 15 headlines. Go ahead and write 15. Use them all. You want to make sure that you include calls to action, the keywords of the services that you're offering, features and benefits. You can have Google help you generate headlines here as well, or you can use ChatGPT. You don't have a lot of characters. Remember, you only have 30 characters, so you have to be very to the point with these headlines, but use them all. Next are going to be the long headlines. You get 5 of those in this case. In search campaigns, we typically see you only get 4. You have 90 characters, you have more. So you can elaborate on the features and benefits of this service that you're offering. Licensed estheticians, clean studios, walk-ins welcome, but use the 5 headlines here. Fill them out as thoroughly as you can. Make sure to include a call to action. Call now, book online, contact us today. And then you have long descriptions, 5. Those are 60 characters. And then the description, you get 90 characters. So again, Google will help you with these descriptions. Make sure they're okay from your standpoint. Then you're going to want to add images. Now, if you had it generate assets, it did. This was one it generated for me, and you can choose on select if you want. You can use free stock images that they have. Hopefully you have images, perhaps before and afters. Choose images that don't have a lot of text in them. You can upload your own images right here under upload. You can pull them off your website or social, and you can search for them in stock images here. So you want to give a lot of assets that really are going to display your service. I think pictures of the outside of the studio, the inside of the studio, your team. You can show before and afters. Don't put a lot of text in the images. Google in general doesn't like that. But give them a lot. Load quite a few images. I would load up to 10 or 12 different images. I'll click save there. Logos, load your logo. That's important as well. And again, the reason you want so many images is because these ads will show on all those different channels that Google has, which you can see right here. YouTube, Gmail, search. It'll show display. And again, display ads are ads that show up on other websites and discover. So it has broad reach, and a lot of those platforms require images. As you can see, it's going to give you a preview down here. Preview on mobile, preview on desktop. Put your business name in there. If you have video content, go ahead and add your videos. You're going to need to link your YouTube channel, or you can just search for the video that you have, and you can paste in the YouTube watch URL right in here, or you can create a video. If you don't have any video content and you have images, Google will create some videos for you with music and everything, and if the images are good, these actually turn out to not be that bad. They actually turn out to be pretty good. So I would encourage you to use video assets, because video has a lot of reach and the cost per view is very low. Sitelinks we talked about earlier. Make sure you have sitelinks. Again, the types of sitelinks, for a spa, you're going to perhaps link to services offered so people can see everything else that you offer. Contact us. Social media marketing, marketing automation, those are obviously pertain to my business, but you're going to put maybe about us in there as well, or book online and link to your book online page. Let's go ahead and open that up really quick. So you can put in a description here and here. You don't have to. That's going to link into that URL. Now let's say it's the holidays and you're offering gift cards. You could say gift cards offered, and you have a link to a page that is all about gift cards. Go ahead and set an end date here. Maybe it's holiday gift cards. Have it end on the 31st of December or the 25th or the 24th of December, whatever. You can set the days and weeks and the times that you want it to run. That's a huge benefit. If they're, what we would call evergreen site links, contact us, services offered, just let those run whenever the ads are running. Call to action, I would leave this at automated, but you can choose, if you feel strongly, you can choose to something else. But if you leave it automated, Google's going to find the ones that are going to work the best and show those. More asset types. If you have promotions, you can fill these out. Lead forms I don't use very often. I don't really encourage you to use that. That's similar to Facebook lead ad, where they capture the lead information right from the ad and it's sent to you. I don't really recommend that. Prices, you can enter prices in if you want. Not many of my clients want to do that. Usually send them into the landing page to learn more about your service before they judge you based on a price. Structured snippets we don't use very often. You don't need to as well. Callouts, you should add callouts. These are small snippets of text that make your ad bigger. They're about 25 characters, as you can see right here. They're not links, but I typically use these as features and benefits about the service that you're using that help expand on features and benefits of your services or your location or whatnot. You can do things like, licensed estheticians, walk-ins welcome, free parking, all the things that your customers need to hear to become customers. Locations, absolutely, you should be using location extensions. You're going to have to add your Google Business profile in there and link that up. So I've already done that in this case. If you haven't linked in your Google Business profile account, you're going to need to do that first. But this will enable Google to pull in your address and your phone number. So to kind of recap, in terms of these asset types, the main ones that you want to use are going to be site links, calls, callouts, and location extensions. Those are the bare minimum and the 4 things you should use. Now, if you're a mobile service, you don't need to use a location extension. Display path down here, you don't need to worry about. Okay, signals are the next area that are really important. And this is what really differentiates a Performance Max campaign from a search campaign. So search themes are kind of like keywords, but not really. So you want to type in up to 25, it says up to 25 search themes. So if you already did a search campaign for the same product or service, you can use those keywords. So if it was lash extensions, you would type in lash extensions, lash extensions near me, and so on. You want to keep it focused only on the product or service that you're focused on. Then move on to audience signals. So let's go ahead and click on, now this is going to be your data. If you're new to Google Ads, you probably are not going to have a lot of what we would call first party data. If you have a YouTube channel, you could enter it in here. If you have Google Analytics, you can add that here. Now, if you have a nice size customer list, you can enter that in here. But it's going to want you to go over into the Audience Manager to add that. So if you're new to Google Ads, you don't really need to worry about this. Chances are you won't have any first-party data. Additional signals is where we get into some really interesting segments that you can target. Demographics. Do you want to target females, males, unknown, 18 to 65? If your service is particularly for females and the landing page features females, then uncheck males. I would leave unknown checked perhaps. Select your age range that you want. Additional demographics, you can leave all those checked. If you know that the majority of your customers are top 10% income, then make sure you're targeting the top 10%. You can leave unknown checked if you want. Okay, so that covers sort of the demographics. Now we want to go to these detailed demographics, if you will, in-market audiences. So if you click on Browse here, you'll find this category here called in-market audiences. In-market audiences are people that are actively searching for what you have to offer. So there's a couple of ways you can go in here and you can just browse for things or in-market audiences that make sense, or you can just go over here and search. So for example, if I type in spa, you can see spa treatments, spa and wellness conference info, spa gift cards, spa resorts, spa and beauty services, right? Beauty and wellness. So those are all people that are in the market searching right now. So those can be great targets for you for your spa business. If you know we've worked with some pretty high-end wellness retreats that run $10,000 to $20,000, for a few days to a week or so, and those customers are luxury travelers, so we would target that as well. But if you're targeting something like lash extensions or just massage therapy, and you don't know a whole lot about your customer, you might not want to target that. So once you have selected a couple of those segments that align well, you can go ahead and click out of that. You can see spa treatments, spa and beauty services. We have our demographics and our income. Top 10% is what we want. So we'll just click that. Let's say top 10 to top 20%. Just give your audience a name. Okay, click next. Okay, now you're just going to move on to your daily budget. What are you comfortable spending? So go ahead, enter an amount in there. I'll just put in 10. It could be 100. I have a different module video that you should watch on how to set your budget and what budget makes sense. Click next. Okay, so now we are ready to publish the campaign. However, this page will show you if you have things that aren't ready yet. So multiple asset group issues. So if you scroll down here, you'll see 3 images and 4 site links. Just go ahead and click on that and resolve whatever those issues are, because I'm not actually going to run this campaign. I'm not going to get these issues resolved, but you need to get those resolved, right? Because I haven't entered in any headlines, haven't done any descriptions. So so once you get those resolved, then you are ready to publish your campaign. Once you publish your campaign, it'll go into review, typically within a couple hours. Sometimes it can take a little longer. And then it starts showing on search results. So that's it for the Performance Max campaign. If you have the budget greater than $20 a day, I would encourage you to run both Search and Performance Max in combination. So that's the end of this module. Let's move on to the next one.